start with the whole Julian Assange thing that's come out. So I don't know how much you follow this, but pretty much one of the main witnesses, or a relatively key witness in the United States case against Julian Assange, this Icelandic person, Sigurd Sigi, gave an interview to an Icelandic newspaper or magazine, called Stunden, and he pretty much walked back everything that he had said. So before, he had said he was very high level and at the at WikiLeaks, and that he was asked by Julian Assange to do X, Y, and Z. And he actually showed documents now, like text messages and stuff that he hadn't released before, to prove his new position that no, that was all made up and that was all bullshit. So I've just two quick quotes. Go ahead.
And it was, I think, due to the pressure from the FBI.
Exactly. So I'll just read two quotes. Torderson's rogue acts were not limited to communications of that nature, as he also admits to Stunden, the magazine, that he set up avenues of communication with journalists and had media pay for lavish trips abroad where he misrepresented himself as an official representative of WikiLeaks. And so apparently after months of collaboration, the FBI kind of lost interest in him, and about the same time, charges were piling up against him with the Icelandic authorities for massive fraud, forgeries, theft, and even for sexual violations against underage boys he had tricked or forced into sexual acts on the other. So super shady person. A lot of the United States' second case apparently against Julian Assange, are kind of two cases. They brought a second one, and that one is really based on what he had said here. And then just the latest with Julian Assange. So he pretty much is still in prison. This weekend was apparently his 50th birthday, because he's waiting on the judge, because the US has appealed the UK judge's decision that he can't be extradited to the US. So pretty much if this judge throws away, or if he rejects the appeal of the US government, Julian Assange should technically be free and be able to come out of prison, because right now he's only staying in prison because of the fact that the Americans are appealing it. So what this latest
and they don't allow him bail.
Yes, exactly. And this latest that come out really, so I was listening to a human rights lawyer who works for Julian Assange on Democracy Now. So I mean, she was just saying, so based on this, the judge even has more reason to just completely forget about this and let Julian Assange come out. But I'm just saying this because I guess it doesn't really affect the case right now, right? Because right now it's about the appeal of him being able to come out of prison.
And the reason the judge said they can't extradite Julian Assange was because she said that because of the great US prison system, there's a chance that he's going to get killed, basically. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how it affects it, but just another. It's good it's good to know that whoever has any doubts now has no doubts.
Exactly. And then
but a lot of on the positive side, a lot of people came out and sent I saw Slavoj Žižek and a couple of people send their birthday messages to Julian Assange.
And your buddy Jeremy Corbyn tried to go visit him, and there's this whole photo, and he's asking for his parliamentarian right to visit Julian Assange.
As if every weekend we hang out.
He's one of your favorites, right?
He's my favorite. Yeah. Well, John McDonnell is my favorite in UK politics. Anybody check him out. But Jeremy, I love Jeremy.
So I thought we can quickly link this. So we talked about this last week, right? Chelsea Manning did this podcast with Ryan Grimm, and in it he basically,
which was, in my view, very. It's not a hugely newsworthy thing, but it was discussed. Well,
but say why? Say why? You didn't say why. Because of the quote that came out.
Yeah, the quote the quote was that I'm paraphrasing, but Chelsea Manning saying that if Ken Klippenstein, if I'm not mispronouncing that, was back active when I was originally doing the leaks, I would have contacted him instead of Julian. Contacted him then. It doesn't mention Julian Assange by name. the implication is clear.
Yeah, exactly. So when we talked about this, you mentioned that you hadn't listened to the podcast, and I hadn't. We had heard other people talk about them. So I went back and listened to it, which will be 40 minutes of my life that I will not get that I will not get back. I'm joking. Chelsea Manning talked about the prison system a lot apart and her experience in prison, which that part I'll admit it was interesting. But she never mentions why she would have rather given them, because exactly in the quote, I think she
How
said
does
that
it come up?
they're just talking, and the whole premise I was telling you of the podcast episode makes no sense. It's called like Chelsea Manning meets Ken, but I don't understand. Like it's put as in like these two are equals. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Ken is a bad guy or something. I get that he works in this area and he works with leaks and all this. It just still made no sense. You know, if it was Chelsea Manning meets Edward Snowden, I get it. These two did the
Or
same
even
thing.
to be fair, even if it was Chelsea meets Jeremy Scahill, I just because Jeremy Scahill was used to be their hosts, like although it's on the deconstructed,
Yeah, this is exactly
with Ryan Green.
this is different podcast.
So
I mean,
yeah,
it's not a big deal. I just found it weird. Like Chelsea Manning meets. Okay, I get that this journalist.
No,
works in
but you
that
don't
area.
remember how why would she say that just out of nowhere?
Yeah, they just talk about a little bit. The only thing that she
was
mentions...
it Ken's birthday? They were trying to make him happy.
I don't know. He comes and goes too, kind of. He's not always involved in the discussion, kind of. And then the only thing that I recall that they say is that Chelsea Manning, she says that she went to some bigger outlets and they rejected her, and then she gave it to Julian Assange. That's all she said for what I listened to, but
fair enough.
Yeah, she doesn't really explain. I don't really understand why she says that, which is, I mean, it's her right, and she's been through a lot. Let's not forget everything that she went through, but it's just a weird thing saying that about Assange. As far as we know, he hasn't done anything wrong to her. So yeah,
he hasn't done anything wrong to her. He has gone to jail trying to protect her and others. And as she mentioned clearly, he was the one who was willing to publish this. And and I don't, to be fair, I don't know how bad his situation has been in the prison, but I don't think it's been any much better than the situation that Chelsea Manning had. So, you know, I mean, not seeing your children grow up, that's a bit of a thing. Usually people don't like. So it's just the way, like, it's like somebody's down and he's your friend and he has, in my view, objectively helped you, and you kick him.
I know, exactly. It was really strange, right? I mean, that's all I'm left. I listened to the podcast. I didn't really get anything out of it. And you know, Julian Assange is only turning 50 now, but if you see his recent pictures, the poor guy looks like he's about to turn 70. I was actually quite happy when I found that, if I'm not mistaken, because he could come out. There is, I mean, right now, I think, of course, this is as closest as he's been to getting out of prison.
I think he's gonna come out in a year or so, as late as they can make it. So, but that's not gonna, like, the 15 years and his mental health, and you know, when you're being spied in the bathroom. I don't know. I'm not, again, she could have just said no. Anyways, it's just such a dickish move. Somebody is in so much trouble and you still don't.
I know. So if anybody else picked up on some reason, which I missed when I listened to the podcast, because I mean,
I can't
like I mentioned, it was boring.
Please.
I don't find Ryan Grimm that boring, but the way that the Intercept make their podcast are just aggressively boring. They're like on purpose, like they make them, it's just too much. But anyway, let's move on to our second story. Now, this story is fun. Did you watch it? So Max Blumenthal and The Grayzone, they defeat this lawsuit by an absolutely like spoiled journalist. So do you want me to give the main points, and then we get into it?
Sure. I want to give a slight background. This lady, Salome Anderson, her father was kidnapped in 1980s by a group affiliated or potentially affiliated with Hezbollah. The thing about Hezbollah and a lot of other of these type of organizations is that they are not, it's not like it's not Exxon, or it's not like Disney. Everybody doesn't have a card. There's no central office with the HR and all that. You have all these cells, terrorist cells or group cells, military cells. I mean, that's the key to winning a asymmetric warfare. Basically, you have these separate cells acting independently, and then you use a lot of times these cells, just like police, by the way, a lot of times recruits from criminals for some of the more hardcore things they want to do. These organizations recruit from criminals, and famously, the guy who was before Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was the head of ISIS, or what later on became ISIS. Before that, he was a pimp and a gangster. That's what he was, and then he evolved into. So, her father, sorry, was kidnapped in 1980s, and was released, I think, in 1991. And it's not clear whether it was Hezbollah or one of the people who pretend to be Hezbollah, because it's a big business, kidnapping in Lebanon, and like in South America, it's kind of like South America. They kidnap you, they ask for $500 or something, and they drop you back at your families. But he was kept for 6 years, and it is very likely that it was Hezbollah, because he was American journalist and all that. But yeah, so I just wanted to give that historical background, because I do feel like that historical background is not in the Grayzone video I saw. They didn't really refer to it.
No, they talk about it a little bit. And just one thing that you didn't
I didn't watch
add,
the whole thing.
just one thing that you didn't add, as a result of this, her dad won tens of millions of dollars by the US government based on seized Iranian assets. And she herself apparently got 6 million herself. So this is very important to the rest of the story, kind of.
Sure. And by the way, I just wanted to, because I wanted to get to this.
No, it's important background.
For nothing. But I would say that that's kind of like saying that if, for example, let's say McDonald's comes to Iran at some point, or Coca-Cola or whatever. Coca-Cola is here though, although I don't know how, but they are here. But yeah, it's like saying, we're gonna, because that's what happens to Iranian money and assets. We're gonna block them until US, this is all because of the financial cost of the 1953 coup in Iran. Like, or the passenger plane they shut down. It's completely ridiculous. I mean, this is like, the kidnappings are awful and inhumane, and these people should be compensated and they should be taken care of, but not by somebody else's stolen money. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, system of, it's like, okay, so something bad happened to you, I'm gonna commit some other crimes to fix this. Fuck off. Anyway,
but I mean,
go
this
ahead.
background, but this background is essential, because that's where she got her money anyway, right? So she got this money. So what's happened, the latest, is that pretty much Ben Norton and Max Blumenthal in The Grayzone, they wrote a story 2 years ago saying that, how this lady herself, Solomon Anderson, admits that has admitted and tweeted that her sources in Hezbollah are bullshit, and she has this, we'll show the tweet after when we have some more fun,
are not to be very so we consider it very trustworthy.
Exactly. So she herself admits it. She puts out a tweet saying that Iranians firing missiles into Israel. So that's the latest one. And after that, she pretty much says that, okay, folks, one of my sources has proven incredibly unreliable, and I apologize, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take a break and all this. So all they do is cover this. And after they do this, she comes back with a $1 million lawsuit saying that, it's libel and
defamation.
Defamation and all this. So she tried to sue them, and the judge.
Just first legal question. Shouldn't you have some fame to be defamed? It's like me right now. They defamed me on the comment section.
Good point. But and I mean, the judge was apparently not impressed at all. Like, one of the things that he says that I don't think anyone expected to see a journalist using libel law to try to sue another journalist in a local court. So just absolute bullshit. So it was a $1 million case. And then when you hear the stuff that she was saying, so let's Look at the photos
It's
that I sent
disgusting.
you. So the first photo is hilarious. It's Max Blumenthal and Ben Norton, and it pretty much is the pictures of the tweets, and they took this to court, and it's the picture of the tweets that she had posted to show that, listen, this is what she said. We wrote an article, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Then the second one is just this message that she sent. I mean, here you kind of start seeing what kind of like spoiled and messed up person she is. She sent this message to Max Blumenthal's lawyer. I can't wait for the look on your face when your client is served and you see the letterhead. You're playing with the big boys now, Morin. That's the name of their lawyer. No dime store bullshit here. And I have a huge population of real journalists who can't wait to take Max Blumenthal and his fake news machine down. And then, so the next tweet I had sent you, Sam, is pretty much her saying that, it was bullshit. I love this. I'm taking a break to sort out what's real and what's not. I don't think a break will help you to sort out. That's like the middle of the tweet, the one that starts with, okay, folks. I just didn't want to read it again. And then, so those other tweets that I'm just flashing on TV right now, these are the videos that she had put out. Another video of Iranian missile fire at the Israeli Golan, sent to me by a source in Hezbollah, which was found to be complete bullshit. And then the last thing that I sent you, so this is where you get a little insight into her. So this is a memoir. So this person, for some reason, at the age of 24, 25, thought that her life is so fascinating and interesting that it's already time to write a memoir. And in the memoir, she wrote, because of the lawsuits my family won against Iran, I had all the money in the world to spend on drugs, and I made some dealers a lot of money. So you get a little insight into this person who just thought that, she's gonna destroy Max Blumenthal.
By the way, sorry, I just continued reading the paragraph, and it just gets worse as a sort of a.
Well, it's really, yeah. When I was like, 23,
she goes on to admit being a homewrecker. It seems. What the fuck?
Like, I'm telling you. But so anyway, Max Blumenthal and Ben Norton did a whole 2-hour podcast on this. It's really fun if you want to go listen to it. There's also an article. And then I have a little comment to make, but go ahead, Sam.
Just the level of arrogance. He must have seen me and thought, jackpot. Like, yeah. Anyway,
I don't know who she thinks she is. It reminds me of, there was this white, like, American lady. She went to Africa or something, and then she wrote a book about her experience. No. Some nobody, some kind of nobody. And then she wrote a book about her experience, and then she said, people looking at me this way or this white, and like, just thinking of themselves like who they are. But Sam, the suing thing, anytime I think of the word, someone's like, oh, I'm gonna sue you, it's such a spoiled rich person instinct. If you ever talked about it, in most cases, okay, I know there are class action lawsuits where a bunch of people get together, but just the idea of contacting a lawyer will cost you like half of your paycheck. I mean, just engaging with a lawyer is an idea that it's a rich person instinct, having that, oh, I'm going to sue you. It's either childish because you don't know anything. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. When the lawyer picks up your phone call, just calling a lawyer is not easy. The busiest people who get paid hundreds of dollars per hour.
Wait.
Yeah.
I think you're referring to suing someone for defamation or libel specifically, because of course, if somebody runs you over with a car, you sue them, right? That makes sense. And you're right, legal fees are too high, but that's a problem with the legal system. That's not a problem.
If someone runs over you, you don't try to sue them. Like, you don't need to.
What do you mean? How do you? Of course, you need to sue. What do you mean?
Like, I guess you have a case against them. Yeah, I guess it is like suing them.
Yeah, it's suing. Yeah. Or if a company brings you food with worms in it or something, you sue them because you paid them and they or whatever. So my point is that yes, in my view, suing for libel and defamation is extremely a spoiled thing to do, because you can just respond like a human being unless they make very specific accusations. And in some cases, I think if you're, for example, a journalist and they say that you're paid by the Russians, I think in that case, it wouldn't be a bad idea, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like in the example that you gave when you get hit by a car, that's such an obvious one. But you know, you hear it all the time in the US and stuff. Like someone has like an altercation with like a business or something like that. They're like, I'm gonna come and sue you or something
That's
like that. Just that
that's more of a
statement that makes it.
that's a media creation largely specific to LA and California, that oh, there's a hot coffee poured on me, I'm going to sue you all. That's more of a media thing, because
I know
as you
there
said,
was.
in reality its legal costs are so high and it doesn't work like that. That's it's more of a pop culture thing, I
But it
think.
does happen in real life too. It's not just a TV thing. I mean, a lot of people have this
In
instinct
90s, I think
and they say,
mostly.
oh, I'll sue you for that, or, they should go sue them
Sure,
without.
mostly in LA. I just mean I don't want to generalize about, like, again, I think suing for libel and defamation is extremely a spoiled thing to do. But suing in general, it depends on the case. And I agree. I know what you're referring to, this pop culture image that, yeah, like this brat guy, that rich asshole that, somebody in the service industry doesn't serve them well. Oh, I'm going to sue you all. But I think, again, I don't know how real that is.
I
That's all I'm
think it's
saying.
relatively
But
real, because I hear people, even people who are familiar with American culture, and they just say that like all the time, like, oh, he should sue them, or they should
they
sue
say
them.
it, but
I'll
they don't
sue
do it
them.
though.
Yeah,
Like
but I
they
mean,
say it in
just the
Iran.
idea, just the idea.
But
I mean, really, I just find it's either you know nothing about the law system, or like you're someone spoiled who thinks, with your money you're gonna go after and
well,
bring them
usually,
down.
to be fair, usually she's right.
What?
This was a particularly bad case. I mean, usually with money you can get the
Yeah, no,
result
for
you want.
sure. But I love how she was only going for 1 million, and this shows that there's such a poor, like,
Million
small
is,
media organization. Yeah, I mean, if it was a bigger one
yeah.
for 1 million, they would rather you to just go away. Just paying their lawyers costs more than a
You know,
million, really.
she's a typical, like, she's crazy as well. Now
Yeah,
she's using mental health as an excuse, like, yeah, yeah, she's crazy.
I didn't see. But okay, Sam, I think we've reached the part of episode, and please, people, like and subscribe if you like the content so far. But we've reached, sorry, what? Drum roll.
But
Jimmy Dore. Oh, okay, go ahead. What?